Welcome to today's video. This is a B1 level speaking lesson. Today we're going to be learning vocabulary, words, and expressions that will help you talk about a wedding. Just remember that since this is a speaking lesson, it will be helpful if you respond to the prompts by speaking aloud. And if you would like some feedback, feel free to record your answers and submit them in the comments. So first we can talk about weddings in your country. Do you like to attend weddings? And are there any interesting wedding traditions in your country? And what are the most common features of wedding receptions around the world? And here are some vocabulary words. Some of these are common in the United States. Save the date invitations. Those are usually postcards that are sent out well in advance of the wedding to let people know of the wedding date. It's not the actual invitation, but it allows people who might have to travel some distance to start making their travel arrangements well in advance. Venue is just the place where either the wedding or the reception or both are held. Reception is basically the party that occurs after the actual marriage ceremony. The first dance is usually a tradition where the couple enjoys their first dance together after being married. A gift registry is where a couple can sign up with either online or in various stores for items that they would like to receive as gifts. And so the wedding guests can go to those online registries and choose gifts from the items that the couple has already selected. Dress code generally is for the wedding guests. Sometimes, if a wedding is very formal, the invitation might say black tie or white tie, meaning, you know, the guests wear tuxedos, evening gowns, or sometimes people have themed weddings and they want the guests to dress in certain colors or in costume around a certain theme. Seating arrangement is just where the guests are seated at the tables at the reception if there's a dinner. Speeches usually happen during the reception. The best man and maid of honor usually make a toast or a speech, sometimes the parents of the bride and groom. Cocktail hour is usually a time for drinks and hors d'oeuvres, visiting. Generally, that happens while the guests are waiting. The wedding party may be still taking photographs after the ceremony, and so the guests have cocktails while they're waiting for the bride and groom to arrive. Celebrant is usually the name of the clergy person, the priest or pastor or judge or other official that marries the couple. And there are tacky traditions. Some people think that things like throwing the bouquet to all the single women or throwing the bride's garter to the single men are tacky traditions. There are other things like the dollar dance, where people will come up and pin a dollar to the bride's dress in exchange for a dance with her. So there are many things that people consider to be tacky traditions. So what kind of venues are popular for wedding receptions? Sometimes they are just reception halls. Sometimes churches have dining halls or fellowship halls connected to them where wedding receptions can take place. Sometimes they're at hotels or ballrooms. Um, Sometimes it can be even at a person's home. And are church weddings common in your country? Some countries they are, other countries favor more civil ceremonies, so it really just depends. And who else participates in a wedding ceremony apart from the bride and groom? Well, usually they have attendants, the best man, and groomsmen. Many times those are relatives, brothers, cousins, or close friends. Same thing with the maid of honor and bridesmaids. Oftentimes they are the relatives or friends of the couple. Their parents often participate in the ceremony as well. So the members of the wedding party, bridesmaids, maid of honor, groomsmen, the best man, the father and mother of the bride and groom, and the flower girl. And what happens during a wedding ceremony? Many times the couple will exchange rings. The bride usually walks down the aisle, sometimes accompanied by her father or an older brother or another older male relative. Um, Throwing the bouquet, that's again one of those traditions that happens. Uh, it's supposed to signify who will get married next, an old tradition. Usually after the vows, the judge or priest or pastor or whoever is marrying the couple will pronounce the couple man and wife or husband and wife, I think is, or now with same-sex marriages, it could be spouses or pronounce you married. So the terminology man and wife is kind of old-fashioned. And then you may now kiss the bride. Again, that could be a little bit dated language because if you have a same-sex marriage with two men, um, you're really not going to have a bride and a groom. Um, Sometimes they'll say it's you may now kiss your spouse, something like that. So which do you prefer, getting your own gift or purchasing something from a gift registry? So if you're a guest at a wedding, do you like to come up with an idea for a gift on your own, or do you like to just choose from a pre-selected list of items that you know the couple has indicated that they would like? And are gift registries popular in your country? I think they're somewhat popular in the United States. Especially now, it used to be that department stores had them, but I think now online is more common. You can set up wish lists on online platforms like Amazon, and people can simply go to uh, the wish list and choose something from the list. And what's also nice about that is that it kind of keeps track. So once an item has been purchased by one guest, it's taken off the list, so the couple doesn't receive duplicate gifts that they have to return after the wedding. So invitations, what do you usually do when you receive a wedding invitation? Sometimes there is a request to RSVP, which means you're going to indicate whether or not you are coming. So do you return it right away? Do you wait until the last minute? Do you not return it at all? Um, and have you ever received a save the date invitation? And what is the appropriate dress code for a wedding? Well, it really depends on the couple's preferences. Some weddings might be very formal, some might be very casual. Kind of just depends on what the couple wants. And what do you think about themed weddings? Some people think this is a fun idea, other people don't like it. So just what are your thoughts? I have a quote to discuss. A wedding is an event, but marriage is a life. That's by Miles Monroe from the book Waiting and Dating. So do you think that your wedding day is a good sign of what your marriage will be like? Or do you think that people spend too much time worrying about the wedding? So interested in your thoughts. Another quote, a wedding is a party, not a performance. If at the end of the day you are married to the one you love, then everything went perfectly. So do you agree with the statements? Do you think that wedding ceremonies uh, are going more and more over the top? For example, being super expensive, very detailed. And what do you think about celebrity weddings? Sometimes the celebrities have very complex wedding plans. One of the most recent, I think, was Jeff Bezos got married in Venice, I believe, and there was a lot of controversy about, how much money was spent on that particular wedding. All right, so now we can practice matching the images to their descriptions. Um, so a church wedding looks like picture A. Looks like the couple's kneeling there at the altar. There's candles. An outdoor wedding. Um, that I believe is picture C. A Vegas themed wedding that happens in the Las Vegas wedding chapels. A vintage wedding where we have the old car, and a beach wedding. And these are some other things to talk about. Again, you can practice speaking aloud or putting your uh, ideas in the comments. Do you think color coordination is important for an unforgettable wedding reception? Like, should the outfits, the tablecloths, the napkins, should the decorations, should those all be color coordinated or matched? Is it appropriate for a bride to wear a colored wedding dress in your country? In the US, most brides still tend to lean toward white or ivory, especially for a first wedding, but sometimes um, for a second wedding or for older brides, they will pick different colors. Um, I know in some cultures, I think in India, it's very common to wear red as a wedding dress. So, what's the most popular wedding dress color in your country? How do people usually pick the date for their wedding? And is it better to bring a gift for the happy couple or to give them money? And how long do wedding receptions usually last? In the US, usually a few hours, between 2 and 4 hours, I would say probably is the average. But I know in other cultures, wedding feasts and parties go on for days. So it really just depends. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, share, leave comments, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.